What's up with you guys, man? What I need to start doing now, because a lot of times I pre-record videos, so I'll record a video today, and today will be like, let's just say hypothetically speaking, March 8th, but the video might not go public until like March 12th because I try to film and upload every day, right? So what I said I was gonna start using this channel for, it's like a day-to-day diary, you know what I mean? And it's just keeping track of, you know, how I'm feeling, what's going on in my mind, whether it's good or bad, or even just necessarily what's going on in the world that particular day or at that particular moment, if it's not necessarily the day, but just what's going on in terms of, it seems like what's stretched out over the course of, days, weeks, months, years, how that type of stuff goes on. Like how we had the COVID situation that was going on for so long and it's even still relevant to today. But what today's video is basically, I just kind of was talking to my girl just now, and I got irritated, and it's just because it's like this, right? So you have a lot of people that it's like they try to make, friends or, buddies or whatever the case may be. They say, well, come over, come have a drink with me, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about, whatever the case may be. And it turns to the thing, it gets to the point to where you really don't, or even like, let's say with family, right? So you would say, well, we got a family get together, right? And no disrespect, it's just like this, right? So I was telling my girl that when family comes into town, if family does come into town, or even if it's friends to a certain degree, I don't really necessarily care about trying to break my neck to get over there, just because, like, what are we going to talk about at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Most of the time that when I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to people who I feel like in a sense don't really give a fuck about me. Honestly, it's like when we talk, are they getting to know who I am really as a man and as a person outside of what you knew, what you once knew, the young man that you once knew, the boy that you once knew. Eventually, life is all about growth, right? So at some point, you grow past the boy and you turn into the man. But how many people are interested in knowing the man? How many people are interested when it comes to knowing the man, right? What does it come to? It comes down to knowing the man's principles, a man's morals. It comes down to knowing things that the man is interested in. So it's like, you might know that the boy was interested, for me, right? The boy was interested in wrestling, WWE, when he was a kid. The boy was interested in Hannah Montana, Sweet Life on Deck, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And if you were a 2000 baby or a late night or the late 90s baby, then like 96 babies up into 2000s, you understand these shows, right? So this who the boy was once interested in, right? Now the man has become interested in more so sports than what the boy was interested in. The man has become interested in self-improvement and improvement of people. That's what the boy wasn't interested in. The man has made up in his mind that what he wants to be doing is being involved with sports, in a sense, like a sports media. That's what the man. But how many of my family members know the man and give a fuck to know the man, right? So the thing is this, right? When I find myself talking to my family, a lot of the times, or even other people, but in this terms, I'm gonna talk about my family, right? Because I know we all got toxic families, right? But we all feel obligated to stay connected to them because of the quotes, family over everything, blood is thicker than water, which I always say that those terms are used to manipulate and to control you into allowing your family to use and abuse and to run you in the ground. Because most of the time, when you look at anybody that has stuff stolen from them, anybody that has people that's crossed, a lot of times it has come at the hands of family, because family are the only people that you would put in a position. Family are the only people that you would let your guard down and become vulnerable and become subject to those type of things happening, because an outside person wouldn't be able to get close enough to you to be able to hurt you like that. You know what I mean? So even if it's not blood family, it's friends, somebody that you can classify as family, right? So I noticed that when I talk to family, a lot of times it's not about anything that I really want to talk about. And it's not just family, it's people too. And it might be friends, but I find myself having to talk about things that I do not care about talking about. So I looked at an interview with Charleston White, and this when him and Princella was going in it. And Charleston White was telling her, he was like, I don't give a damn about talking about half the stuff I talk about on these interviews, but it's content. I don't give a damn about any of that. So I find myself, it's the same correlation to me speaking to family or to anybody else. I don't care about half of the stuff that we talk about. But that's the only way that I can have conversations consistently. Because if I say, oh, I'm zero tolerance to ignorance, I'm zero tolerance to negativity, I'm zero tolerance to all of that, you will find yourself being a very angry and bitter person, right? Because you can't talk, because you can't relate to anybody. So you'll find yourself being disconnected from people in general. So you will start to really say to yourself, I hate people, because it's rare that I can bond with a person. And then a lot of times when I'm able to bond with a person that I see a lot of similarities in, but it's their association with certain people that draws me away from them. But you're not understanding that in order to stay sane in this world, you have to subject yourself to a certain level of ignorance. So you have to subject yourself to a certain level of bullshit interviews where you looking into the LA gangbanging politics, them talking about this and that, and everybody so-called gangsters, but y'all getting on here and incriminating yourself in every interview. So if y'all do what y'all say y'all gonna do to each other, that go your conviction right there, because you done already admitted to it. And even if you didn't admit it to it, you done associated yourself with it, because you're saying what you will do and do to that person, and it's not in means of self-defense. It ain't you saying, if somebody done this to me, then I would do this. It's you saying, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna KILL you for disrespecting this gang or this, you know what I mean? Just pure ignorant stuff that doesn't mean a fucking hill of beans. That's not gonna take us as people, especially black people, because we're the ones who deeply rooted into it and live off of these codes. It's not gonna take us to the next level. It's not gonna get us this so-called 40 acres and a mule that we're still asking about after 400 years of slavery. That all people who was directly affected to it in terms of slaves are dead for the most part. You know what I mean? But not to get too much into that, we're going to get back into what I was just saying. I subject myself to a certain level of conversation that I don't really give a damn about. You know what I mean? And it's like I was just telling my girl. So Ruston High, I'm from Ruston, Louisiana, right? So shout out to my city, shout out to Ruston High, the boys football team. They won state this year. Boys basketball team had a shot at getting back to state, but they lost. But it was a kid that had a phenomenal play in last night's game. And I was telling her, I was like, it would get to the point to where, like this, right? So if I go around my family or anybody else and I say, hey man, did y'all look at the kid from Ruston High jump over the other kid's head and dunk the ball, which he did last night? It'll be like, yeah, but they still lost. So it's like the positivity is still blocked off with negativity, because the negativity consumes the positive. So granted, it's a team sport. So in reality, they lost. So regardless about the dunk or whatever, it's still a team sport, so they still lost. But the thing is some highlight that you can take from it. Just, okay, that's a nice play by the kid. You know what I mean? And he's only a freshman. But it's like the negativity or the bull crap will be overshadowed by, will overshadow the good that took place, or, you know, that the kid, or any type of good. It's like we focus solely on the bad, right? So it's like, you focus so much on the bad now that you don't even highlight the good. But like I say, misery loves company. Don't nobody want to hear nothing. If you're miserable in your life, you don't want to hear nothing about, oh, this person right here just won a championship, or this person right here just hit an opportunity with their business where they working for themselves now. It's always going to be, oh, well, he better make sure he doing this or she doing that so they don't get, you know what I mean? It's just some way to throw salt in the game. You know what I mean? To throw some hatred towards people, when it's just like, bro, is it really that serious? Just because you're miserable in your life, that don't mean that everybody else got to be miserable. So why do we got to focus? Why my conversation with you about people has to be in a negative manner? It can't be us talking about, hey man, this guy right here just, he got scholarships to, LSU, Alabama, Texas A&M, or man, this guy right here just had a brilliant business idea that just made him X amount of dollars, or this person just purchased this land. It can't be about anything positive. It gotta be, oh, well, I just heard that his brother just went to jail, or I heard her boyfriend just cheating on her, or I heard that his girlfriend left him from another woman. Like, it's all negativity. You know what I mean? And that's what we highlight, and that's what we focus around. That's what your conversations are trajected around, and that's what your mind starts to become, centered around negativity. So it's like, if I gotta be by myself, if I gotta be quiet and not to protect my mental and my spiritual energy, then it just is what it is, man. Like, it's not worth associating myself with this 24/7. That bull crap starts to consume you, and it starts to rule you, and it just changes your whole frame of thought and who you are. So it's like I'm bending over backwards to get to a place that don't mean me no good, because the people, regardless if they're conscious of it or not, they don't mean me no good. You know what I mean? I'm not a better person being around these people. they're not making me a better version of myself, because they're not, you know, the best versions of themselves. It's things that they can ask, that they can improve on, but they can point out every other person's flaws but their own. They can't say, hey man, I'm an inconsistent person. Hey man, I'm not as good of a husband or a wife. Hey man, I'm not as good of a father or a mother. Hey man, I'm not as good of a son or a daughter. So it's all aspects that we can get in. If you ask me one of my flaws, I would say one of my flaws is I'm easily irritated. You know, I'm easily, you know, bothered. And that's not good, you know what I mean? Because you got to be able to stay centered and not give a person that much control over you. I would say that a lot of times that I quit, I give up too easily. You know, that's always been the thing of my life is every time something gets hard, I quit, I give up. And I say I want this, and I say I want it, but my actions doesn't represent it. So that's why, even though I'm not getting views on these videos, I'm not going to stop, right? Because when I say that I want to be able to have this, or I want to do this, I'm going to show you that through my actions. When you come look at my channel and you see that this man uploaded, you know, 300 times out of a year, 365 days, motherfucker uploaded 300 times. That show you, I ain't got to tell you nothing. You can see all that just from my actions. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we get so caught up on that, but that's going to be another video, man. But you know, like I always say, man, I try not to make these videos too long. I don't try to talk y'all to death, man. You know, I just like to come in and check in with y'all, and it all depends. The way I'm feeling, man, I might got another video for y'all. You know what I mean? But if you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, click that post notification bell, where you know, that way you'll be notified every time I upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out this thing.